So we all done seen the video circulating of Draya Michele and Jalen Green when he said that he was gonna punch the shit out of her. And
This whirlwind romance between NBA rising star Jalen Green and reality TV veteran Draya Michele has twisted into something darker than anyone expected, and the question hanging over everything is brutal. Was the baby even his, or was the love story a setup from the start? Before we dive into every messy layer of receipts, rumors, and street whispers, do me a favor, tap like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss the next drop. Okay, back to the beginning. When their relationship went public, the internet lost its mind. Draya was 40, polished, famous from Basketball Wives LA, and long linked to powerful men. Jalen was 23, gifted, focused on hoops and just entering his prime. The age gap alone made people debate power dynamics and intention, but what truly shocked folks was that Drea's son Nico is the exact same age as Jalen.
Do you want any more kids, or are you done?
Oh yeah, I want more kids.
Like how many?
Like one, I think.
So like the person you're dating, you see like a future with them?
I think the question you were asking me is if I wanted more kids, and I feel like I want more kids, and I feel like at this point in my life, right?
Yeah.
The relationship is amazing to have, right? But that's not what I'm basing having a kid on, because I'm very non-traditional. I feel like you can co-parent without being in a relationship.
Imagine bringing your son courtside to watch your boyfriend play. Cameras caught Nico looking tense, and fans said the optics were wild. That was only the first crack in a story that kept widening with every headline, every post, and every whispered allegation that refused to die down. Stage set for chaos, everywhere. While fans argued about love versus grooming, old stories about Drea's past bubbled back up and colored everything. During a 2022 Vlad TV interview, Nick Young described rookie year hazing where he drove Gilbert Arenas around wearing a chauffeur hat and said one night two women climbed into the back seat, one allegedly being Drea, and things got intimate while he kept his eyes on the road. It sounded like wild locker room lore until Laura Govan, Gilbert's ex, later said the tale was real and that Drea wasn't a one-time fling. Laura also claimed she saw paperwork suggesting Gilbert paid Drea $25,000 to move to Los Angeles. Those claims ignited the internet and stamped Drea with a reputation that trailed her into every new headline. Drea pushed back on Instagram saying she was cyberbullied, that no one was married, and that any interactions were years before reality fame.
Last time I seen Drea, when we was talking about that shit, she was with Puff. And I feel like she was giving a nigga a hand. This Puff was trying to have a meeting with me or whatever, and like, we there, and like Cassie's in the house or whatever, and like Drea's there or whatever, and like Drea's sitting next to him.
Yeah, the threesome.
And the nigga's trying to have a meeting with me, and like I think that like Drea like giving him a hand job or something under the cut blanket. I'm like, bro, I don't want to talk too much. I went back downstairs with.
She admitted she had not always made perfect choices, but denied being a homewrecker. Regardless, the narrative stuck. Fans framed her as a savvy veteran in a league adjacent to power, money, and temptation, while critics insisted her relationships were transactional. That tension sat like a shadow over Jalen and Drea the moment their romance began trending. Then the storyline jumped from whispers to fireworks. News broke that Drea was pregnant, and in May 2024, she gave birth to a daughter named Light Green, a name that immediately trended for its strangeness and symbolism. But 3 months earlier, a college student named Maya had reportedly delivered Jalen's first child, meaning the young star went from 0 kids to 2 in one whirlwind stretch. Blogs claimed Drea was furious about the financial implications because support would now be shared, and another woman suddenly had a permanent tie to Jalen. Online,
oh, it's actually true. With the shirt, like the shirt for a hat with the little suit with wait for Gil. But he paid me for it, so I'm like, all right, cool.
But he would get a girl and start messing with her in the backseat?
Backseat. I can't say the name he had, but he had a good one time. And I'm like, is this real? He in the back door, I'm driving. They doing whatever in the back.
the narrative flipped. The supposed master planner was losing control of the plot. People mocked the optics, framed it as karma, and said the cougar playbook had backfired. Meanwhile, the age gap drama bled into Drea's home life. Commenters said Nico looked increasingly uncomfortable, and whispers grew that the relationship strained mother and son. Whether fair or not, the public judged each photo, each game, and each appearance through a single lens: who benefits and at whose expense. When Light's birth should have brought peace, the noise only got louder, and the idea of stability felt further away than ever. Every celebration carried echoes of doubt, debate, and unresolved questions. The simmering pressure finally boiled over in public. During New York Fashion Week, witnesses say Jalen and Drea erupted into a street-side argument that escalated so fast bystanders intervened. Cameras didn't need dialogue to tell the story. The body language said enough. People online compared the chaos to infamous toxic pairings, and the clip fed a week's worth of reaction videos. The spectacle wasn't just embarrassing, it also raised new questions about what was cracking behind closed doors. Was this two adults under stress, or a power struggle driven by money, fame, and the suspicion that love had slipped into strategy? Within hours, Drea posted tender photos and videos, a curated calm after the storm, almost daring the public to choose their own reality. Some fans accepted the romance reel, others pointed at the argument and said the mask had slipped. Either way, the couple had become content. Their every move was now a plot twist, and the relationship itself felt like a live-streamed series with cliffhangers, callbacks, and a cast of recurring characters who kept turning up exactly when the algorithm demanded fresh drama. In that glare, tenderness and turmoil blurred, and truth felt painfully negotiable for both of them. What made the moment explosive were the words people say Draya let slip in the heat of that clash. Multiple accounts claimed she'd had drinks, and stung by jealousy, blurted out that Jalen wasn't the father of her baby. Whether it was an angry dagger meant to wound or a confession pushed out by emotion, the fallout was immediate. Paternity rumors metastasized into full-blown DNA talk, and timelines filled with certainty that no one could actually prove. For Jalen, who had spoken about drawing inspiration from his daughter, the possibility cut deep. Imagine investing heart, identity, and future in fatherhood, only to watch the internet debate your bloodline in real time. Friends, teammates, brands, every stakeholder reads that feed. The story stops being private pain and becomes a public asset traded for clicks. And when Draya posted those cozy clips, critics saw damage control, not love. Supporters saw a couple trying to hold on while a digital mob demanded receipts. In the space between perception and proof, one truth stood out. Once a rumor like this escapes, it doesn't return quietly. It knocks at every door, day after day, asking the same question: is the story love, or leverage, or both? As if that weren't incendiary enough, an industry producer resurfaced a story that tied Draya to an even bigger storm. He claimed that during a meeting at a famous mogul's house, Draya sat nearby under a blanket and appeared to be intimate with the host while an ex-partner was elsewhere in the home. He admitted he didn't want to talk too much, offered no proof, and yet the implication did the work for him. In a year when allegations around that mogul dominate headlines, simply placing Draya in the room was enough to revive older accusations that she navigates proximity to power with transactional precision. Draya hasn't confirmed or denied the account, and the story remains an allegation, not a verified fact. Still, the narrative gained traction because it fit a familiar archetype: the savvy beauty who turns access into advantage. Fair or not, once a character template attaches, the audience reads every scene through it. Smile becomes strategy, silence becomes spin, softness becomes salesmanship, and with the DNA rumor amplifying at the same time, viewers started connecting dots that may not even touch, convinced that the scandal had a unifying logic: money, image, and survival in the celebrity marketplace. At scale, money sharpened every theory. Jalen reportedly secured a contract extension worth over $100 million, and suddenly strangers built spreadsheets in their heads, calculating support, lifestyle, and leverage. The gold digger label floated in countless comments, often cruel, often lazy, but powerful in shaping perception. Was Draya seeking security, or simply living a love story that looks suspicious because of history and context? Meanwhile, the presence of multiple mothers in Jalen's orbit made stability feel fragile. Even when everyone acts in good faith, logistics alone can exhaust a relationship: schedules, boundaries, blended family norms, and the daily grind of public scrutiny. Add algorithmic outrage and you get a pressure cooker. What began as a glossy reveal morphed into crisis management, where posts looked like statements and captions read like legal briefs. The couple's happiest moments became exhibits for and against them. And the cruelest irony is that the more you try to prove a love is real online, the less real it can feel. That gap between intimate truth and public narrative swallowed this story, and every new rumor fell into it like a stone. Each splash rippled outward, unsettling friends, family, teammates, and brands watching from careful corporate distance the entire time. Caught in the middle of perception wars was Nico, the son whose age mirrored Jalen's and whose comfort mattered most to people who had never met him. Commenters projected anxieties onto his face in candid photos, decoding every frown and sidelong glance as proof of embarrassment. Whether those readings were fair or fanciful, one reality lingered. It is hard being a teenager while your mother's romance dominates trending tabs. School hallways magnify gossip, jokes become daggers, privacy evaporates. Reports suggested distance growing between mother and son, a quiet ache under the loudest headlines. If true, that fracture hurts in a way no algorithm can measure. Jokes about cartoons they both watched carried a sting. The internet rarely resists an easy punchline, yet behind every quip is a human cost. Family systems strain when external narratives set the tone for internal conversations. When your dinner table must answer to strangers, meals taste like press conferences. In that atmosphere, even good news feels staged, and a simple smile can look like strategy. The cost of fame isn't just money or privacy, it's the slow erosion of ordinary tenderness. Rebuilding trust requires time, boundaries, and silence that the internet rarely allows to breathe. After Fashion Week, a familiar pattern took hold. A messy moment sparked a romantic montage, and audiences chose sides in the comments: curated love or calculated cleanup. That split says less about Jalen and Draya, and more about us. We want certainty in stories that rarely offer it, and we punish ambiguity by filling the gaps with the most dramatic explanation. Yet ambiguity is exactly where real people live. If you're Jalen, every choice now has two audiences: the person in front of you and the crowd behind the screen. If you're Draya, every pause becomes motive, every caption an argument. In that feedback loop, identity splinters. Are you a boyfriend, a father, a brand, a headline, or all at once? And what does responsibility look like when even your feelings are content? The paternity question weaponizes biology as spectacle, dragging grief and hope into a timeline that prefers thumbnails to nuance. While the truth waits for lab reports or conversations we will never see, public judgment gallops ahead, confident and loud, measuring hearts with metrics that cannot hold them. That mismatch breeds cynicism, fatigue, and impulsive decisions that satisfy the feed today, but complicate tomorrow for everyone involved deeply. So where does this leave them and us right now? With a love story under siege and a family narrative argued by strangers, waiting rooms, and algorithms, maybe DNA answers will surface, maybe they won't. Maybe the couple will reconcile in private, or maybe they will break as loudly as they were made. What's clear is that nothing about this situation is simple. Age gaps invite scrutiny, fame invites projection, money attracts theory, and history shadows every new chapter. If the baby is his, the work becomes rebuilding trust and shielding a child from weaponized commentary. If the baby isn't his, the work becomes different but no less human. Closure, boundaries, and healing from betrayal played at stadium volume. Either path demands compassion that social media rarely grants. For Jalen, the next step touches career, reputation, and fatherhood. For Draya, it touches dignity, motherhood, and the possibility of starting again without the old plot lines. And for everyone watching, the lesson might be restraint, that some truths need quiet to be true, and some endings deserve less spectacle than their beginnings. Until then, the tea stays hot, the timeline restless, and the final chapter unwritten. We'll be here when the next shoe finally drops.